Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, Dinesh.
Um, Thank you for agreeing to do the interview with us. Um, let's get to meet you.
Okay, well, hello. My name is Jennifer. Um, I'm here at Living Clean Recovery Program right now. Actually, my son, my 24-year-old son, has been a participant in the program here. Currently, he is a little bit over 3 weeks free and clean of an addiction to heroin that he had been struggling with. Heroin and other opiates as well. And he went through an Ibogaine detoxification before transitioning here to the Living Clean program.
Yeah, so would you please speak a little bit about your experience here and since you've been coming and participating as a parent in our activities and engaging in healing as a family, what do you think are strengths and weaknesses? What can we improve in our program and what do you feel is good and working?
Yes. Well, first of all, you can't talk about the Living Clean program without talking about the setting of the program. It is in an incredible place of beauty that I feel is, the nature, the natural element, the landscape, the wildlife. It's just a very inspiring place of beauty that is incredibly conducive to healing. Healing for anybody's spirit, really. So having the setting as it is really like the perfect backdrop for the actual substance of the program that occurs here. I think hand in hand, the land and the people here who administer the program, it is nourishment on a very holistic level for mind, body, and I think most importantly, spirit. I feel that people who suffer and struggle with addiction, there is something on a spiritual level that needs to be resolved, and it has not been resolved, and that's why they are suffering and struggling with the addiction problem. So I feel like the strength of this program is that it's caring and compassionate and nourishing to a person who is in pain, a person who does not need to be judged or made to feel illegitimate or not good enough, a person who needs someone to say, hey, we care about you. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's help you make it to the other side. We care about you. You're a person who deserves not to be in pain. So I think that's what this program is all about. Nourishment for the soul on a deep level. What this program is not is some luxury place where you send your loved one to just be treated like a king or a queen. Your loved one here is required to do work, to examine themselves, but they'll be guided during that process. They won't be treated like they're all the same. There is care and attention to their individuality and their dignity as a person, a me, a unique soul that they are. There's so much care and attention in that aspect of things, getting to know who this person really is. As a parent, I have experience with other rehab programs where none of those elements are there. Your loved one is treated like a number. They're treated like a label. They're labeled as addict. You addicts are all the same. Let us tell you what you need, and you just sit there and you need to cooperate and be obedient and Um, you know, they're not brought in as a participant so much. And when I talked with Dinesh about this program before coming here, he explained to me, you know, we don't refer to the members of the program as patients because we don't think of them as someone we're just doing something to, or we're doing things for them. They're a participant. They're an active part of the process. So that's what I see as what sets this program so far apart and makes it so unique and special. It has really surpassed. I had very high hopes for it in everything I read about it, in all of my discussions with Dinesh and Kopali. But I sometimes have to pinch myself because I feel like it has just surpassed all of my expectations for it.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Thank you it's great to hear, and I'm sure we can improve in many ways. And if it comes up during our interview, things you think we can do better, please do tell. I'm interested in your observation as parent, seeing your son changing in this last 3 weeks he's been here after Ibogaine. What change do you notice is happening in him, and how much this change is connected to what we do here, you think? What's helpful for that change to occur?
I've seen an incredible change in a very short amount of time. As I said, it's only been a little bit longer than 3 weeks since he actually did his Ibogaine detoxification. We all know it's very early in this process, so there's still much work for him to do. But I've seen change that I really never would have thought in my wildest dreams was possible. The change that I've seen occur, I think that he had a lot of protective walls and barriers built up. Even into element that it affects all elements of someone's life, you know, and I think there were maybe stubborn, rigid aspects of not being open to change or a new way of looking at things, or open-mindedness, you could say, on when it came to certain things. One of the first things I noticed was he started eating all kinds of food that for years I gave up even trying to encourage, because he was completely committed to never eating bananas or avocados or onions or tomatoes or all these foods. And within a few days of being here, he was eating all of those foods and telling me how good they were and how much he was enjoying them. To me, that signifies a certain new openness, a certain barrier of defense coming down. And I think it's because of feeling safe in this program, feeling like you're treated like a human and with dignity. And the people here he has felt very comfortable with, and I know that it's because of all the things I've mentioned, how truly caring and compassionate they are to this person as a unique individual, not as a label. So he has felt safe, I think, to be able to open and consider things that he never would have considered before. I've seen him regain a normal sleep schedule and structure in his day-to-day life, which would have been impossible without being in an aftercare place. The Ibogaine was very helpful in terms of physical detoxification, but even in the days after doing Ibogaine, he was a little bit worried, and I know it's normal if you talk to a lot of Ibogaine providers. the Ibogaine is continuing to work for several days, after the treatment. So participants often feel that perhaps their treatment hasn't worked. They're a little bit worried. So Avery did go through that a little bit, thinking like, gosh, maybe this just didn't help me, and one more attempt at help has failed. But after coming here and spending time here and participating in life again, doing new things, seeing the beauty of the environment here, I think gave him hope and openness. And the structure here, I think, gives there are activities and structure. There's a schedule, which is very important for giving someone the stability that they need to be able to do the growth. He wouldn't be able to grow in the way that he has here if he was awake all night and asleep all day and bored without structure in his daily life. And so that has just been incredible to see. I've seen him also smile and laugh in ways that I haven't seen for a long time. Mm-hmm. That genuine happiness from the soul coming through his eyes. He could smile or laugh over the previous months, but it wasn't the same. It was like his spirit, his soul had been kind of dormant. And now I see his spirit and his soul alive again.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Couple of questions. You've participated also in some of the therapeutic activities that we have here, in ceremonies with sacred plant medicines, with traditional doctors who come here, naturopathic medicine, recovery coaching, individual and group. And you've seen him going through this process. What do you think works best? What we can add to this activities? And what was your experience in participating as a participant, as a family member?
Yes. Well, I can't really imagine anything that could be added to the activities. It seems to me like there's something for everyone. There's yoga and kung fu and art and horses and trips into town to see the local culture, and I really can't think of anything in that regard that there isn't, that would be to add. There's something for everyone, there really is. And as far as the sacred plant medicines and the traditional doctors, I feel that all of it is just so conducive to healing, because you can't have the know-how about addiction, the experience that the staff here have with addiction, coupled with the compassion and the wisdom. I think that's something that the plant medicines really bring, is a wisdom and a compassion and a healing on a very deep and personal level. I think compassion and expertise, one without the other is not effective. You have to have both. Mm-hmm. The very idea of caring for someone's health in the way that a doctor is supposed to is that you help alleviate any unnecessary suffering. You do no harm. Those are the foundations of what doctors are supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that in our society, our Western society, the practice of medicine is really moving further and further away. It's becoming more commercialized. It's becoming all about pharmaceutical medications, just pumping people with drugs. just numb their symptoms and not really getting to the root of the problem.
And speaking about that root of the problem, do you think we're getting somewhere with Avery? I mean, when he came here, he said he still thought about using heroin. He still thought that this was not going to work. And looking at him where he's at, yeah, the question is, do you think we're helping him to find that route? And also, what would have happened if had he gone back home without continuing care, just doing Ibogaine?
If he had gone straight home after the Ibogaine, there would have been the physical detoxification that had been greatly accelerated and withdrawals greatly alleviated by the Ibogaine. But the psychological component and the spiritual component of addiction would not have really been addressed. And I feel that those two elements, psychological and spiritual, are actually the strongest, much stronger than the physical dependency aspect of addiction. So I feel, I don't just feel, I know in my bones, and I know from my past experience with this problem with my son, that he just would have fallen right back into old patterns, because the real root of the problem would not have been addressed. I think that he himself, the same as me, since being here, has been completely surprised by the change that has taken place. He has said to me, you know, I never thought that really it was possible to ever be to this point of change. I never thought this could ever happen, that I could be existing in my own skin and just feeling okay, you know, not having my life just completely ruled by these drugs.
Do you you know, the philosophy of what we do here is let the answer come from within, and let him or her become that new self, relinquish the identity of an addict, and step into that new identity of the self. Do you where do you think your son is in that process right now?
I think he is seeing that he is not destined to be a drug addict, that is not who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's actually very excited at the possibility, and possibility is a key word here that I will return to in a minute. He is very excited at the possibility of, who is he? You know, he's young, so that opens up a whole world of possibility and opportunity to grow and learn who he really is, what his path is in this life. And possibility, the reason why I focus on that, it has been such a long time since I've seen my son think in terms of possibilities.
Great. And we have about a minute left, and I want to ask you, do you feel that we are helping, well, our intention is to help him transition into his life in a realistic way, knowing both his risks and possibilities, and work with you and with the family and with him long term, not just weeks of continuing care here. Would you speak a little bit to that aspect of the program?
Yes, I feel that Dinesh and Kopali, I feel like this is not just a job for them. I feel like this is a true vocation, the way that they approach it. It's not like, oh, come here, you stay in our program, and then you move on. They are invested in the future of the participants here, and they're very realistic about it. It's such a unique approach here, but truth is also a very important element of the approach.